Hello everybody and welcome back. In the previous video, we had finished up the registration logic for our register page and we were able to successfully create a user inside of Firebase. We had went through the process of registering the user inside of Firebase, whereby then we would save their image to the storage service, and then finally we would create an instance or a document for them inside of our users collection inside of our Firestore database. So now with that done, there was just one logical error that was happening inside of our application, whereby once we had registered our user, we were not actually moving to our home page. And the reason for that was fairly simple, but it took a bit of digging around to figure out. And that was that inside of our authentication provider class, when we called the register user using email and password and the user was registered inside Firebase successfully, the auth state changes listener function would fire. And at this time, as we can see that we've just registered the user, but we are in the process of uploading their image to the storage, but we haven't created them inside of our Firestore database. This function would actually not run completely. And the reason for that is because when we would come to the point of actually fetching the user from our database, the provided document wouldn't exist and we would just not complete this function and we wouldn't navigate to our homes page. So the most elegant solution that I found, which required not a lot of changes to be made to the application, was that once we had created our user, we call another call to our logout function inside of our authentication provider class, and we await it. So we wait for the user to log out, and then as soon as the logout is done, we log in the user again, this time using the login using email and password function. We provided the email and the password, and this time when the authentication provider's auth state changes listener function is called, when it comes to the database service to get the user, the document doesn't exist inside of Firebase because our function call to create the Firestore database document comes before our function call to log in the user. And this time the function goes through the correctly without any errors, and then we navigate to our home page. So to show this, I'm going to go to my registration page and I'm going to create a new user. The user I'm going to be creating is going to be Robert De Niro. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, for the email, say that it's going to be robert@preneur.com. And then finally, for the password, I'll say that it's going to be the same password that we've had before, test123# or exclamation mark. And I'm going to click on register. But before I click on register, I'm going to just let you guys know that in the previous videos, I took liberty of creating some additional users inside of my application, such as Margaret, Keanu, Brad, and those were just so that we can have a bit more users to play around with inside of our application. So with this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on register, and you're going to see that once the registration process completes, it's going to take us to our home page. On the back end side of things, if now I go back to the users tab, you're going to see that we have the user Robert register with the provider being email, created on September 14th, signed in on September 14, 2021 for the last time. If I go to my Firestore database, you're going to see that inside of our users, we should have this new document created with the email, image, last active time, and name for Robert De Niro, as you can see here. And finally, if I go to my storage, you're going to see if I go to images, users, this new folder has been created with me, inside of which the profile image for the person actually exists. So with that, we've successfully finished this module. We've implemented the registration functionality inside of our application. And now we're actually ready to begin the process of actually creating the different UI elements inside of our home page. So with that, I'm going to end this video here and I'll see you guys in the next coming modules. Thanks again.